grief, and our people, and a lot of anxiety, and for me, I don't know. It's just heartbreaking. Um, and I know we're going to be seeking, asking, and knocking, but what we and like I said, this is me. Like I said, and what I say, this now, whatever. I'm just a man. I'm not saying you got to take what I say, to heart or whatever the case may be. This is it's a round table discussion. You know how we do, fam. We in the living room, um, uh, and I darn sure definitely am not preaching to anybody. We all reading the text, this and that, whatever. We're all trying to get back to the covenant. But this is just me, speaking and I guess sharing or whatever the case may be. And I guess if anybody has anything, of course, you know how we do. Please chime in. Um, However, as we're seeking, asking, knocking again, our main thing, what we should need to be doing is, of course, meditating in this text. That's the main thing, getting back to the Most High, meditating in the text. Um, and of course, I will say this, that as I was speaking to a sister earlier this week, she hit me up and, she said basically referencing John chapter 1, um, and for all of us who know about John chapter 1, in the so-called New Testament, it's not necessarily, it wasn't necessarily supposed to be there in the first place. Again, it was added for all of those who, those scholars who are really digging in. But I guess, with her, she was troubled by that. And she was like, I find it hard to believe that, the Most High, and I'm kind of paraphrasing. I find it hard to believe that the Most High's word is skewed like that the Most High would put anything infallible in His word, this and that or whatever. And and I was sharing with her. I said, well, it's not that the Most High did it. You know what I mean? I said, what we have are, fragments and pieces of our scrolls and, and stones and things like that have been found. What we have is a piecing together, put in a book that was, by man. You know what I mean? The Most High is not infallible. The Most High doesn't make mistakes. The Most High is not going to put anything that's not right, and give it to us. What we have is a piecing together of things that have been found, and so we do have to rely on the Spirit. And I believe that's what Mashiach was saying when he said, once I leave, I'm going to send you the Comforter, who's going to do what? Bring all things back to your remembrance. Bring all things back to your remembrance. So, as we're seeking, asking, and knocking, we have to, remember these things, that, what we have is not necessarily the infallible word of the Most High. We have a piecing together of what's been found of our scrolls. In 70 AD, we know the Romans came in, ransacked Yarushalayim, and, came in, took scrolls, took all types of writings, this and that or whatever, and it's probably down there in these vaults as we speak, under the Vatican or whatever the case may be. And they've taken from those things. We read over the Apostles' Creed, Nicene Creed, and all these things that they put out there, basically, in a nutshell, kind of saying that they took from the Hebrews, but they're not going to do as the Hebrews do, right? Because they incorporate a lot of their paganism in the whole 9 yards. This is where we get religion from. But we have to just be, vigilant and diligent in our meditation of the scripts, and just really being still before the Most High to allow Him to parse the information for us. Because, and just, going through some other things that people were talking about earlier this week, as far as, I don't know if anybody on here has heard of what do you call it? The protocols of Zion, or the protocols of the elders of Zion, or whatever the case may be. I read it a while back, some years back. And then recently, how it popped up is recently just hearing from one of these fish people who is in charge of manipulating information. Okay, he's in charge of manipulating information online as far as Wikipedia and all of these other things. It's not whatever. So again, in our seeking and our asking and knocking and our going out there to get information, this now whatever, I'm going to tell you straight up, and like I said, this is me. You can take it for whatever it is. I'm going to tell you straight up that anything that we touch or read or whatever, everything is skewed. Everything is jacked up. You're not getting full information, full 100% factual information from anywhere. That's why we have to rely on the Most High. And you know, it is what it is. And it's troubling, but here it is, you know, because of our ancestors' disobedience. You know, I was speaking to my big op last night, Danny, and you know, I was just saying, like, because of disobedience, man, we have to eat defiled bread. It is what it is. We walked ourselves, and you know, our people's helped us walk ourselves into these curses, and we who come up afterwards, we are that generation that's spoken about. Well, we are as that generation. Let me put it that way. We are as that generation that's spoken about in I think it's Judges chapter 2, that speaks about. There was a generation that came up that didn't even know the Most High. That's us, because we didn't know the Most High. Again, the Most High has breathed unto us, and He's allowing these dry bones to live, and He's imparting unto us wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, and He's going to show you where to go, what to do, da 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 da, in order to be able to, you know, get back to this covenant, and do what's right in His sight. You know, fearing the Most High and keeping His commandments, which is our whole duty. So. You know, so my heart is a little bit heavy, you know, just kind of hearing these things, seeing these things, you know, people just kind of want to walk away because it's too much and this now, whatever. And, you know, it's just heart wrenching for me, you know what I mean? But I just want us as a people to understand that, you know, with all of these things, again, we're not supposed to put our trust in man. Right? We can't put our trust in man. We can't put our trust in every single thing that we're getting from the internet or from these books or this now, whatever. And the scriptures make note of that. You know, we do have to rely on the Spirit. So when you're seeking, asking, and knocking, if you are not at times being still to allow the Most High to feed us, you know, I think we're just gonna, you know, cause ourselves to be confused and jacked up and being tossed to and fro with every wind of doctrine, and that's just me. But I'm going to start out with a couple of scripts, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through some scripts, you know, about, like the text says, you know, with the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, let every word be established. So we're just going to go, you know, through some scripts, right, and out of these scripts and see, you know, what it is that we're supposed to be doing and how we're supposed to be, you know, going about this thing as we're, you know, seeking and asking and knocking and getting back to the covenant. We know we're going through the scripts. That's how we're going to do it. I'm going to stop talking and we're just going to read some from these scripts. But I'm going to start out with these two. First one, Ecclesiastes 1:18, which is the reason why I'm feeling the way I'm feeling right now, actually. Ecclesiastes 1:18. And of course, I'm reading out of Septuagint. Let's see, 1:18. It's the last verse. Last verse in that chapter. And again, I'm reading out of Septuagint, so anyone reading out of Masoretic is not, may read different, it may not, where we are. Okay. So just starting out, like I said, I know the reason why I'm feeling this way, but and I know other people feel the same way. Ecclesiastes 1:18, for in the abundance of wisdom is abundance of knowledge, and he that increases knowledge will increase sorrow. And he that increases knowledge will increase sorrow, because the more we go about this thing, the more the Most High, you know, opens up our, you know, removes the scales from our eyes and opens up our ears and open up our heart. We understand the reasons why we're dealing with what we're dealing with. the reasons why we had to go through what we go through, our ancestors had to go through what they went through, why we're in the situations we are now, why things are the way they are. It just answers a lot of questions when, when you allow the Most High to awaken you and remove these things. It answers a lot of questions, and it will bring sorrow. It will bring sorrow when you see the things that we have to deal with and what we got to put up with, and how we have to, literally claw our way back to the Most High. But just like it says in Baruch, you seek him what? 10 times the more. It is what it is. We got to go hard in the paint and really be before him as far as, that meditation and meditating in the word and just, allowing ourselves to be before him and not allowing ourselves to be distracted by the vicissitudes of life. Because there are many distractions, many, 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 many distractions. And if we're not careful, it will cause us to fall away and kind of lose sight of the prize. So the next one, Jeremiah 29. Jeremiah 29. And of course, a lot of these texts probably be familiar, but that's how we do, man. I always talk about foundational texts. Jeremiah 29, 5 and 7. 5 and 7, I believe. Did I say Jeremiah 29? Wait a minute, that might not be it. That might not be it. Hold on. Jeremiah 17, excuse me. Jeremiah 17, 5 and 7, excuse me. Jeremiah 17, verse 5. Cursed is the man who trusts in man and will lean his arm of flesh upon him while his heart departs from Yah. Okay, so cursed is the man who trusts in man. So again, we can't put our trust and our wholeheartedness in a lot of the things that we read and we parse through this now, whatever, because again, man is putting this stuff together, right? Again, what we have is fragments, we have pieces, we have here and there, this now, whatever. There's nothing. And I'm, like I said, you could take it for what it is, but I've been, along with other people, been studying for a long time, and every time you study, you may find something good, this now, whatever, and then you find out later, well, there's something skewed with that. Then you go about and you read something else or get something else, whatever, and you're good with that for a while, and then you find out there's something skewed with that, this now, whatever. So again, it can be a little bit overwhelming at times, but again, if we rely on the Spirit, the Most High he doesn't desire for any of us to perish. So he's not trying to throw any stumbling blocks our way, this now, whatever. We have to know that everything that we're dealing with, the man has touched, our enemies have touched, right? And again, reading Psalm 83, the enemies of the Most High, they make a tumult, right? And they, trying to get the name of Yasharala no more, because they don't want the Most High's name to be spoken no more. So this is just the art of war, just, manipulating information, doing all these things. Like I spoke about this guy earlier. He was in charge of literally manipulating him and other people. And of course, he's fish. And when I say fish, I mean the other people who claim to be the people. They're in charge. They're in charge of the media. They're in charge of the publishing houses. They're in charge of everything you see and watch on TV and hear on the radio and all of these things. So we do have to be careful. I mean, we're getting it through them. And like I said, here we are, being awakened folk and things like that. We go on social media because we call ourselves wanting to, to spread the good news, if you will, and things of that nature. And one thing leads to another, and we're giving out information and inviting everybody to the barbecue and all of these, this and that and whatever. And they're hearing these things and they're saying, okay, this is their level of awakeness, if that's a word. This is their level of awakeness. So we need to come in and start throwing a little, couple of monkey wrenches in the game in order to cause confusion and this now whatever. And if you really think about it, as far as quote unquote religion goes, and again, this ain't that. This is not religion. This is culture. This is heritage. But as far as religion goes, like of course, what's his name, Constantine, you know, the originator of Christianity, which most religions come through. Um, this is how you get all of these different religions and different paths and all of these different things because somebody disagreed with something that was said over here and they said, well, you know what, I'm going to go and start my own thing and teach it from this perspective. And then somebody from that goes ahead and say, you know what, I don't agree totally with what's being said here, so I'm going to go teach it from this perspective, and so on and so forth. And this is how you get all of these different religions and different ideologies and different philosophies and all of these different things. And so reading, if anyone here has read like the Willie Lynch letter and all of that stuff and how he came into basically break the minds of the slaves, you see a lot of it was by division. We need to divide these people because together they're going to continue to fight. They're going to continue to revolt. They're going to, probably come together and overtake us or whatever. So we need to come in and we need to break the minds of these slaves, right? And this is how we're going to do it. We need to we need to bring division in their households. We need to bring division amongst them as a people, light skins, dark skins, and all these things. And this is what it is. So again, the information that is a lot of it being given to us is to bring confusion, right? And what does it cause? I mean, they look at us and what we've been fighting amongst one another, right? And that's what it does. You see, it brings debates and it brings all of these things and cats coming at each other because you don't agree with what they're saying or whatever the case may be. And it just brings more and more confusion and it can become overwhelming. So hence, this is why we need to rely on the Ruach Kodash. We need to rely on the Spirit of the Most High, in the midst of these things. Sometimes just sitting quietly before the Most High and say, Abba, what is it that you will give to me? And like I said, we're going to go through scriptures and see this in the scriptures. We're going to see this, even in the midst of captivity. And I kind of on purpose, chose those who were in the midst of captivity, and how they did it, from our forefathers. This is not from my own mind. So we just have to be careful. I'm very, very passionate about this. Go ahead, Op.
No, man, you brought up that verse that say, "Yah wish that none shall perish," and and kind of in alignment with that first verse you brought out, more wisdom, more sorrow. Because Yah, when we get in that spirit from Yah, the spirit of wisdom is Yah's wisdom. So we are understanding right and wrong from the Most High's code of conduct. So when if He wished that none shall perish, He hurt when He see us perishing due to
Con.
all this cabinetry going on in the world around us. He hurting. So when you have that wisdom, you feel that too, because
Mm,
you can see.
mm. Con. Con. Yep. All praises, man. All praises. It's hurtful, man. It's hurtful to
Mhm.
hear. It's hurtful to watch. It really, really is. And like I said, I understand. Like I said, I understand, of course, where we are, why we're in the place that we are, why things are the way they are. I get it. You know what I mean? And yet, it's still very hurtful. You know what I mean? I remember days, honestly, man. Before we even knew who we were, I remember those days of just kind of just sitting in the family room or the living room at the desk, and praying and saying, Abba, I don't know what to do. I don't know where you want me to go. I don't know what it is you want me to say. And I would be sitting there literally for hours. My wife could tell you, be sitting there up early, probably 4 or 5 o'clock, early, and just sitting there for hours, just weeping. And I don't know. I'm fresh out the world. I'm fresh out of the world. I don't. I know. I want something different than what I had in the world. I know there's something different and I know there's more, but I don't know what it is you want me to do. So I'm just going to sit here. I'm just going to sit here and wait for you to talk to me. And that's what I've been doing, and he led me in certain places, and namely, it was the scripts, and even now, there's things that I may hear talked about this and that or whatever, going back and forth, information this that or whatever, and even now I'll be like, all right, this is a little bit too much, man. I gotta retract. I gotta pull back. I gotta just chill. Man, I'm not even gonna worry about it. I'm not even gonna think on it. This now, whatever. And then boom, he may send something through my wife or my son or another aunt or a sister or whatever the case may be, and I'm like, okay, we'll look into it from that perspective. And boom, he opens it up. So it just is what it is, man. And I'm just a big fan of just relying on the spirit because, like I said, there's many things that I've studied, many things that I've looked at, not just when the Most High woke us up, but even prior to that, because again, prior to us knowing who we were already living Tower Ra. We were already, looking to live, according to the so-called Old Testament, and that was not even knowing who we were. So doing that since what 2003, I think, or whatever. So it was just in 2016 the Most High made us aware of who we were in this thing. So I'm just a big fan of just the reliance on the Spirit, man. But so we just read that curses the man that trusts in man. So again, we can't lean upon and think that everything that we're getting, whatever information, whatever we get, is the end all says all, because we are getting it through man. Verse 7, Jeremiah 17, but blessed, or Ashar is blessed, as happy actually, but blessed is the man who trusts in Yah and whose hope Yah shall be. And that's where we have to go. So again, I just want to read through some witnesses, some scripts, okay, to show where we should be in this walk, in this journey, because it is not an easy journey. It is not. I'll be the first to say that. It is so not easy, but it is doable, right? If we trust in the Most High, if we just truly lean upon Him, it is doable because, Mashiach said, he that endures to the end. So there's things that we're going to have to go through. That's Sirach 2. Those that come to the Most High, you got to prepare your soul for testing. It is what it is. We're going to go through because we're in captivity and, in the midst of our enemies. Okay. And here we are living, supposed to be living set apart, not doing what they're doing, not doing their customs, not doing their traditions, not, not necessarily looking the way they're, looking, or acting the way they're acting, or whatever the case may be. We are supposed to be a set apart people because the Most High is set apart. So of course you gonna get backlash. You gonna get it. We are the small fish in a big pond. So these things we have to prepare ourselves for testing and trial, and and not so overcome when these things happen. Like, we can't be like, dang, why is this happening, or this, that, whatever. I mean, it's hurtful to see things. It's hurtful when family is coming against you and this and that, whatever. But again, the Most High did not hide any of this from us. He told us, Matthew 10, he told us your enemies is going to be there of your own household. Because if you ask me, I think that's one of the biggest obstacles. When your family is speaking about you, or, looking at you crazy, or, just don't want to deal with you, whatever the case may be. And again, it's not you isolating yourself from the family. It's your walking in the way, and that righteousness, that set apartness. It causes a chasm in between those who are going to live for the Most High and those who aren't. It just is what it is. So we just have to be, vigilant in our going about these things.
Yeah, like you said, it ain't you separating from your family. The Most High literally set you apart.
Con, con, con. This is our culture. This is our heritage. Set apartness. We are not like everybody else. We are not. He only dealt with Yasharal, This is why you only have I known out of all the families of the earth. That's why, I'm going to deal with you. That's why we're the only ones dealing with what we dealing with. All right. So first text I want to look at, again, this is just witnesses. We're going to go through, and again, you read these witnesses, and then I mean, you see what it is, right? Like I said, I'm not here to convert nobody. That's not my job. I'm just here to present, what the Most High has presented according to the text. That's it. So you see it for what it is and how we're supposed to be doing this thing. So Sirach 11 verse 15. Sirach 11 verse 15. Sirach 11 verse 15. Wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the law or of his instructions are of who? Are of Yah. Love and the way of good works are from him. Wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the law are of Yah. Are of Yah. Love and the way of good works are from him. So just us meditating in the text, we receive from the Most High. We put ourselves in a place. We receive from him. It all comes from him. The knowledge, the wisdom, and understanding of these things. We don't have any of these apart from him. What wisdom, what knowledge, and understanding do you have apart from the Most High? Absolutely none. Absolutely none. Love and the way of good works are from him. Don't no man knows how to love apart from the Most High. I don't care who says what, this, that, whatever. No man knows how to love. Love, he is love. And how do we know we show we love him? We keep his commandments, and we keep his commandments. He shows us everything else. He shows us how to love and revere and obey him. And he also shows us how to love our brethren. That's what the template is about, the 10 Commandments. The first 4, how do we love and obey the Most High and walk in his obedience? And the last 6 are how we are to treat our brethren. And this is the culmination of everything that Yah speaks. Just like the text says, we live by every word that proceeds out of his mouth, right? Everything that proceeds out of his mouth, the 10 Commandments, is the template of that, because it's how to love and obey him and how to treat our brethren. Point blank in the period. Deuteronomy 29:29, one of my favorites. Deuteronomy 29:29. Again, I'm reading everything out of the Septuagint, so it may read differently in the Masoretic. Deuteronomy 29:29. Deuteronomy 29:29 says, the secret things belong to Yah, our power, our Elohim. But the things that are revealed, I'm going to say it again, but the things that are revealed belong to us and to our children forever, to do all the words of this law, of this instruction. The secret things belong to Yah, our power. But the things that are revealed belong to us and to our children forever. Okay? I mean, I think that's pretty much self-explanatory. So there's things that Yah withholds. I mean, it is what it is. He's the Most High. He can do that. Right? The things that he withholds, and they belong to him. They belong to him. Right? But he will reveal some things to us. Again, just like we just said earlier, the Most High doesn't desire for any of us to perish. So he's not going to put a stumbling block in your way for you to fall. But he's going to reveal to you. And think about it. I mean, here we are, we're people who were blinded because of the disobedience of our forefathers. So we have scales upon our eyes, this, now, whatever. We don't know nothing. We didn't, we're a generation that didn't know the Most High, this, now, whatever. How all of us, and now, now in our getting knowledge and understanding and wisdom, it's not that we just, the scales removed from our eyes and say, oh, let me go get this, and that, whatever. No, the Most High is revealing these things to us. Just as when, Mashiach gathers us, and brings us to the wilderness. You know what I mean? We're probably going to, all realize the Most High going to be there and impart, his instructions upon us, and we're going to realize, oh, there's a whole lot of things that we still had jacked up, because he's going to reveal to us once again everything, everything. So I mean, it just is what it is. I mean, you are people lost and blinded, and it has to be given to you once again how to get back to the covenant. So those things that are revealed belong to us. 1 Samuel 3, verse 7. 1 Samuel 3, verse 7. And the story of Samuel. His mom Hannah, she was barren, wasn't able to have children, and she prayed to the Most High earnestly, the Most High, and made a vow actually with them and said, you know what, I have this child. I'm just going to dedicate this child to you. You know what I mean? You give me a child, I'm just going to dedicate this child to you, and that's exactly what happened. The Most High, Barak, blessed her womb. She was able to have this child, who was Samuel, and she dedicated him to Yah, and he stayed with the priest Eli, and was taught of the things of the Most High. Start at verse 1. For context, all right. So let me start at verse 1. What did I say? 1 Samuel 3.
Yeah,
7. Okay. All right. Let me start at verse 1 for context. But the emphasis is on verse 7. But I will start at verse 1 for context. 1 Samuel 3. And the child Samuel ministered to Yah before Eli the priest, and the word of Yah was precious in those days. There was no distinct vision. And it came to pass at that time that Eli was sleeping in his place, and his eyes began to fail, and could not see. And the lamp of the Most High was burning before it was trimmed. And Samuel slept in the temple where was the ark of the Most High. Verse 4. And Yah called Samuel, Samuel, and he said, Behold, here am I. And he ran to Eli and said, Here am I, for you did call me. And he said, I did not call you. Return, go to sleep. And he returned and went to sleep. Verse 6. And Yah called again, Samuel, Samuel. And he went to Eli the second time and said, Behold, here am I, for you did call me. And he said, I called you not. Return, go to sleep. Verse 7. And it was before Samuel knew Yah. Okay? And it was before Samuel knew Yah, and before the word of Yah was revealed to him. And before the word of Yah was revealed to him. So this, Samuel's in the, like, I think it's a temple, I believe, and he's with the priest Eli, because his mom dedicated him, and she left him there. She would come to visit him, like, I think once a year. Just once a year she would come to visit him. So he's here, and he's gaining all the things and the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding from the priest. So it tells you this is before it was before the word of Yah was revealed to him. So he didn't know the voice of the Most High at that time. And Eli was telling him, I think when you finish reading it, Eli was telling him, okay, next time you hear that voice, just say, Behold, here am I. Behold, here I am. Here I am. And the Most High basically, the next time he heard it, that's what he said, and the Most High started speaking to him. So, it tells you in verse 7, it was before Samuel knew Yah, and before the word of Yah was revealed to him. Was revealed to him. Like, he didn't go and and take books and this and that. The word of Yah was revealed to him. All right, next one. Okay, Doc.
And just aligning back on that, you know what I'm saying? Because Samuel was proven before the revelation the Most High was shown to him. He was proven so faithful with the things of Yah. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, all of us right now, before all this knowledge and understanding was revealed to us wherever we are at, we showed ourselves faithful. We showed ourselves a heart to Shemai, a heart of obedience. You know what I'm
Con,
saying?
con.
And so yeah, that's all I got. Really.
No, I thank you for sharing that because that's basically what it is. That's why I shared earlier. You know, what we're supposed to be doing is meditating before the Most High. In you know in this text, you know, like you said, you know, proving to us to the Most High that we are faithful to stand. We're faithful to be obedient. You know what I mean? Faithful to receive. You know what I mean? Again, not saying that we all of that or whatever the case may be, because none of us are worthy, but just just being in that place. I desire more than what this world can produce. I mean, this is it's nothing here. I desire more from you. I need for you to open my eyes. I need for you to open my ears. Abba, proving, like you said, proving yourself faithful to the Most High so that the Most High can impart unto you. Thank you for that. All praises. All praises. Baruch chapter 4. Baruch chapter 4, verse 4. Baruch chapter 4, verse 4. Like I said, we just going through some witnesses, man, just, to show what the deal is and how we are supposed to be before the Most High and who it is that imparts unto us. Because I know myself. I never want to get ahead of myself. I never want to get haughty and thinking. And we're gonna read about that later on, actually. You know, thinking that I done gotten to myself some jaunts or whatever, and I start smelling myself, and the most I gotta smack me down. I've been there. I've been down that road before, and I ain't not that I was really being haughty or anything, but just not sitting my behind down and allowing the Most High to do what He needed to do with me, and He sat me down. You know what I mean? Sat me down for a long time. For those of y'all who know my story, he truly did sit me down, and I remember people coming to the hospital, basically letting me know, you weren't listening, man. You weren't listening. Most High had to sit your behind down. He's not going to take your life. I mean, came close to it. I will say that. Came very, very close to it a couple of times. He's not going to take your life, but he needs you to listen, and that's where it was. Baruch chapter
Yes.
4, verse 4. Okay,
Yeah,
y'all.
no. Like it's like that verse we keep bringing up, that Yah wish none shall perish. Y'all willing to go to any extreme in disciplining you to save you.
Con, con. All praises for that, man. And I truly believe that, man. And again, like I said, I don't count myself worthy at all. But I I I'd be a fool to not see the hand of the Most High on my life, given the things that I have taken place. Like I said, I've at the inch of my life and the whole 9 yards, and coming very close to death a few times. You know what I'm saying? A few times, more than once, a few times. So the fact that I'm still here, you know, I gotta, like my man Yasha said, man, just gotta show myself faithful to the Most High so that He can impart. Because again, I never want to get too heady or high minded, to thinking that I've, you know, done this or done that. You know what I'm saying? We
Mhm.
can't get down like that. We have to be
Yeah,
humble servants.
yeah, like the scripture say, he who what did it say? He who exalts himself will be humble, and he who humbles
Mm-hmm.
himself will be exalted. That's why I say, man,
Con,
take the low seat and he'll raise you up. And it
con,
sound like what you saying.
con. That's right.
Hmm.
Take the low seat, man. That's right. We don't think I'll wait for yourself to be called up or invited up.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
exactly. Yep, yep, yep. And he gonna give you the
All
amount
praise.
you need. He gonna put you right in the right seat.
That's it. He gonna put you exactly where to the point. Like I said, he gonna put you exactly where he deems you worthy to be. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? It's
Hmm.
not us seeing. Well, I think I can be here. I think I could be. No, that then you've missed the point. You know what I mean? The Most High is gonna put you exactly where He deems you worthy to be. All praises for that. I appreciate you.
Yeah, what they say, whoever finds their own way or lose it, but whoever gives up their way for my sake will find it,
We'll
gain their
find it.
life. Hmm.
Fine. All praises. It is what it is, man. All
And
praises.
like to land me back on that, and then land me back on that, and you know what I'm saying, it's not exalting yourself, and because if you try to exalt yourself and put yourself in a position that it's not meant for you, that's pride, and
Mm,
pride is the first step away from the Most High.
mm,
You know what I'm saying? And it's the beginning of sin. You feel what I'm saying? That's where a lot of these people, a lot of these men, a lot of these women that like it's evident that the Most High's hand is upon them. You know what I'm saying? But what happened is they allow pride to creep in and try to exalt themselves higher than the position that they're not supposed to be. You feel
con,
what I'm saying?
con,
And yeah, bro. So we constantly stay in a state of humility, self examination, and transparency between not just between each other and the community as a body, but also transparency, humility before the Most High.
con, con. All
Yeah, just
praises.
like the word says, man, a broken and contrite heart ye shall not despise. So
Mm,
it's about being always broken and open to the Father, man, and like you said, that transparency, so that he's able to, as you pour out to him, he's able to impart on you and fill you with the Spirit and with the things of the Spirit.
yep. And within that same psalm, man, Psalm 51, to me, speaks about, he desires truth on the inward part, man. Just being bare before the Most High. I mean, just being transparent before Him, man. And He will give us what we need, right? Just like with the what Mashiach said, just like He supplies all of our needs according to His riches in glory, not according to your desire or your wants, but He's supplying all your needs according to His riches, according to how He deems you worthy. You know what I mean? So yeah, and
Yes.
just understand, like me personally, I was just thinking about it earlier today or earlier this morning. You know, leaders and all of these people, it's not whatever from our forefathers, having they had, the knowledge and the wisdom and understanding. They had, certain things, this and that, whatever, and yet, you know, still walked away, still did what, those things that were not right in the sight of the Most High. So you can have all of these things in the books and this, that, and all of that stuff and still get jacked up. Because the scriptures talk about, kind of heaping knowledge and all of these things to yourself. So we have to rely on the Spirit, man. Again, proving yourself worthy and humble, to the Most High, and relying on Him, knowing that it is Him that's giving us all of this, not we ourselves, necessarily going after it. But you know, I digress from there. Chris, you had something, bro? I don't know if you had something.
Oh no, I'm right there with you. I was just gonna say, like the verse says, store up your riches in heaven, where they can't rust or
Con,
mold, instead of here.
con, all praises, all praises. So I go both Baruch 4 or Baruch 4 and 4? Like I said, we're going through these witnesses just to see again where it is we're supposed to be. Baruch 4 and 4 says, "O Yasharal, happy are we." All right, happy are we, for things that are pleasing to the Most High are what? Made known unto us. They're made known unto us. Goes back to that Deuteronomy 29. But the things that are revealed, okay? The Most High makes things known to us, okay? All praises. Sirach. This is one of my favorites right here. Sirach chapter 3, 21 through 24. Sirach, Ecclesiasticus. Ecclesiasticus. Sirach 3, verses 21 through 24. And I like what all of this is saying, man, because again, as I said, information is skewed, man. Information, it is a lot. We can go in and say we've gotten this information and that information, this and that, whatever. But at the end of the day, it's coming through the hands of man. You know what I mean? So we got to rely on the Rawak, the spirit, man. We have to. Sirach 3, 21 to 24 says, "Seek not out things that are too hard for you, neither search the things that are above your strength. Okay, what is meant by that? Seek not the things that are too hard for you, neither search the things that are above your strength. Why? Because if the Most High wants something known to you, He's going to reveal it to you for that time, for that season, for whatever it is. He's going to show it to you, right? So neither search the things that are above your strength, right? Verse 22. But what is commanded you, okay? So basically, what is given to you, but what is commanded you, think thereupon with reverence, so that you obey. Right, those things that we do. This, we speak about. Was that Deuteronomy 6:4, the Shema? Right, hear and obey. Okay, obey that which I am giving to you, that which I'm sharing with you. Obey, keep and obey that. All right. But what is commanded you, think thereupon with reverence, for it is not needful for you to see with your eyes the things that are in secret. Okay? So again, going back to Deuteronomy 29:29, the secret things belong to who?
The Most High.
And it's telling you right here, it's telling you right here, for it is not needful for you to see with your eyes the things that are in secret. Okay? Well, you can go all the way back to Genesis, right? And the tree, the knowledge of good and evil, whatever the case may be. And the Most High told him, don't eat from that tree. Don't eat from it. Don't eat for fruit from you. You have all of these trees. You have all these fruit, all of these things here, this, now, whatever. Don't eat from that. It does not concern you. It don't concern you. So if it's secret, if the Most High is if the secret things belong to Him and it's secret, He don't want it to be known, then leave it alone. Because we see what happened in the garden. You don't need to touch. Don't touch that. If it's His and He's secret, leave it alone. For it is not needful for you to see with your eyes the things that are in secret. Why? Because it belongs to the Most High. If He wants it to be revealed to you, He will show it to you. If it's needful for your life, if it's needful for the walk, for you to get back in the covenant with Him, if it's needful for whatever the situation is for your marriage or whatever, your family, such and such, He will show it to you. If if He counts you worthy to receive it, He will show it to you. Aki has something. Go ahead, Yash. I'm sorry.
You good. I got Sirach 19 verses 18 and 24, which it goes along with the point that you're making and the other point that came before. This is this is Sirach 19. We'll start at verse 18. The fear
You
of
had
Yah,
Sirach 19, right?
verse 18. Starting at verse 18.
Okay.
The fear,
Sirach 19, starting at verse 18.
the fear of Yah is the first step to be accepted of Him, and wisdom obtaineth His love. Knowledge of the commandment of Yah is the doctrine of life, and they that do things that please Him shall receive the fruit of the tree of immortality. The fear of Yah is all. The fear of Yah is all wisdom, and in wisdom and in all wisdom is the performance of the law, and the knowledge of His omnipotence.
Omnipotency.
Omnipotence. You know that word. Omnipotence.
Yeah.
If a servant say to his master, I will not do as it pleaseth thee, though afterward he did it, he angereth him that nourisheth him. So pretty much, if you say that you ain't gonna live by the law, then go back and pretty much double talk to yourself and say, okay, I'm gonna live by the law. Is you just you angry, you being double displeasurable because you're being double minded right now. You know what I'm saying? And double minded man is unstable in all his ways. So don't. So which goes is, are you proving yourself truly faithful to the Most High? Verse 22. The knowledge of wickedness is not wisdom, neither at any time the counsel of sinners prudence. There is a wickedness and the same abomination, and there is a full wanting in wisdom. He that hath small understanding and feareth Yah is better than one that hath much wisdom and transgresseth the law of the Most High.
Read that again. I'm gonna do a Lavando on you. Read that again.
He that hath small understanding and feareth the Most High is better than one that hath much wisdom and transgresseth the law of Yah, of the Most High. Yeah, so it's always better deal with the wisdom that's already been revealed to you. You know what I'm saying? Wisdom, the knowledge, understanding that you can grasp and understand and acknowledge, then to continue just hopping wisdom, knowledge that's outside of your understanding, and then borderline was, well, not even borderline, that will ultimately set you away, separate you from walking fully in the commandments and walking along with the Most High, and separate you from the Most High. And then another precept I got, this is Daniel 2, starting at verse 20. I'm reading out the Septuagint.
Daniel 2,
Daniel
verse
2,
20.
starting at verse 20.
All right, let the folks get there real quick on, especially me. Daniel 2.
I'm just gonna
I
read verse 20 and
know you're going
22.
Yeah, yep. Got you.
May the name of the Most High be blessed from everlasting and to everlasting. For wisdom and understanding are His, and He changes the times and seasons, and appointing kings and removes them, giving wisdom to the wise and prudence to them that hath understanding. And He reveals deep and secret matters, knowing what is in the darkness, and the light is with Him.
Thank you for that, man. Thank you for that. That's the description I was trying to. I couldn't remember exactly what it is, and my man, you pulled that one out. That's the one, verse 20, 22. Yep. All praises for that. I mean, it's there. May the name of the Most High be Barak. For blessed from everlasting and everlasting, for wisdom and understanding of His, and He changes times and seasons. He appoints kings, removes them, giving wisdom to the wise and prudence to them that have understanding. So again, like Yasha said earlier, that those who, from the Most High finds faithful, doing those things, being before Him, meditating before Him, knowing that all of these things come from Him. He reveals these things. He reveals deep and secret matters, knowing what is in darkness, and the light is with Him. So going back to that Sirach, it is not needful for you to see with your eyes the things that are in secret, right? Why? Because if it's a secret, it belongs to the Most High, and He don't want you to know. He doesn't need for it to be imparted. If He wants you to know, He will reveal it to you, just like we just read in Daniel 2:22. He reveals deep and secret matters. Okay, so going back to Sirach 3, 23rd, verse 23. Be not curious in unnecessary matters. And because I believe a lot of people, they start going down these deep, dark holes, especially the ones that have just come in and are zealous and the whole 9 yards, just going down these deep, dark holes and just confusing themselves and jacking themselves up. Next thing you know, they're overwhelmed and all this ain't real and this and that or whatever. No, you jacked yourself up. You put yourself in a place. The Most High didn't tell you do all of that. He didn't tell us to do all of that.
Like it. And I'm gonna add on to that too. And a lot of times, as I was a victim of this, and I know people presently that are a victim of this. A lot of times, we haven't purified ourselves. You know what I'm saying? We didn't allow the Most High to purify us simply of things that were true and are not true. You know what I'm saying? Teach us how to discern the things that are aligned with Him and the things that aren't aligned with Him. You know what I'm saying? Like, just for my example, I was believing in the whole lot of craziness. Then one night, his brother hit me up for a Bible study. Went to the Bible study, brought some of the madness that I was entertaining, and it got cut down.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then that's where I started, pretty much went through a whole purification process. You know what I'm saying? Just letting the Most High just wash me with His Word, and pretty much teaching me what is of Him, what is not of Him, and to properly understand things that are true. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And so yeah, so that's so a lot of us we have to go through a purification and allow the Most High to just and to purify us and give us milk before we jump the gun and start eating the steak.
Yeah, man. And again, like I said, man, there's a lot of information out there, man. There's a lot of books. There's a lot of information out there, man. I'm telling you right now, if you get, you can get caught up in it. And I'm not saying that there's not some, needful information or whatever case may be, but you just gotta be careful because again, this is coming through man.
Yeah.
It's coming through man, and if we are not careful, again, you can be tossed to and fro with every wind of doctrine, not knowing which way is up, this, that, or whatever, and it becomes daunting. It becomes crazy, and you start just confusing yourself and this, now, whatever, man, and it's just I don't know, just a whirlwind of trouble, man. Trav, you have something? Oh, I thought Trav had something. Oh, okay. I thought he was
Hey,
talking
hey,
off the mic.
can I impart real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, this is a simple scripture that came to my mind just now. Ecclesiastes 12 through 13. We all
Oh,
familiar
all
with the
right. Well,
scripture.
hold on. Well, hold that, because we got that's in there too. That's in there too. All praises. We gonna go there. We gonna go there too. You in my
Okay.
notes. We
Oh
gonna go there
wow.
too.
All right.
It's in there. I mean, it's just like I said, man. Just coming combing through the witnesses, man. Like I said, out of my two or three witnesses, let every word be established. So again, not to say it's not coming from me, man. This ain't me. This ain't got nothing to do with me. Um, it's like I said, if one person can be helped, man, and to not be jacked up or caught up into these things, and one person, just one person can be helped, man. Um, because I was there, what Yasha said too, man. Just heaping up information and all this other stuff, and you come to find out that it's not sound, or it's not complete, or whatever the case may be. At the end of the day, man, going to the scripture you reading, man, fear the Most High, keeping His commandments. How do we do that? We got to be before Him, bro. We got to show ourselves faithful, so He can reveal and show us what is. But just to finish off, Sirach 3. 20, 23rd verse. Be not curious in unnecessary matters, for more things are what? Showed unto you than men understand. For more things are showed unto you than men understand. So again, if the Most High wants you to know it, He's going to show it to you. If it's something needful for what needs to be done, or for where we are now, whatever season He's going to give it to us. Verse 24, for many are what? Deceived by their own vain, empty opinion, and an evil suspicion has overthrown their judgment. Again, we have to be careful. We got to be careful.
Yeah, don't it say
Again,
natural
go ahead.
a natural mind can't understand spiritual things.
We going there too. We gonna go there too. That's what I'm trying to get through it, because there's a lot, and I just not necessarily me, but I just want us to understand, man, because like I said, a lot of this can just get overwhelming if we're just not careful, man. Going through all this, getting all this knowledge, and this, now, whatever, boom, 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 and just understanding that again, it is coming through men's hands. It is coming through not just men, it's coming through our enemies' hands. And some of this stuff is by design to kind of throw us off and to get us pitted at one another, like I spoke about earlier. That's how religions got started. Somebody disagreed with this and they started something else. And from there, somebody disagreed with that and they started something else. This ain't that. We can't be doing that. You know what I mean? I always say this, whatever's been given to us, again, we know that it's not necessarily the infallible word of the Most High, but it's a piecing together, and we rely on the Spirit to help us parse through these things. Um, you know, the Most High is saying something to his people. He's saying one thing to his people. It's not about what the Most High is showing me, and he's showing, you something else, and he's showing this sister or this brother something else, or this now whatever. No, he's speaking one thing to a nation of people. We may have individual, setups, in our geographical locations, wherever we are, in our families and our jobs and this and that, whatever. There may be different setups, but the message is the same to the nation. The message is exactly the same to the entire nation. We individuals make up the nation. So it's not about what I think is taking place or how I feel or whatever the case may be. What's in the text? What is the Most High revealing in the text? Point blank in the period. You got something?
The scripture, no private interpretation. I think it's what Second Peter 1:1.
Yeah, about the private interpretation. Right. There is no private interpretation. There's no private interpretation. So again, he's not speaking one thing to you and saying something different to some other sister or brother, whatever. It's one thing that he's saying to a nation. Point blank, period. That's it. Proverbs 3:5 and 6. We know this. Everybody should know this. Backwards, forwards, sideways. Proverbs 3:5 and 6. I'm sorry, y'all. This is something I'm very passionate about, man, because I just hate to see people, just going back and forth and getting tossed to and fro and all. And I hate it. I really do. Even though I understand what it is, but again, going back to that Ecclesiastes 1:18. Proverbs 3:5 and 6. Trust in the Most High with all of your heart, and be not exalted in your own wisdom. Again, I'm reading from Septuagint. Okay, trust in the Most High with all your heart, and be not exalted in your own wisdom. In all your ways, acquaint yourself with wisdom. It says with her. I don't get into that whole gender thing or whatever. In all your ways, acquaint yourself with wisdom, that it may rightly direct your paths. What wisdom? The wisdom that is from the Most High. What's that?
Read 7 and 8.
7 and 8. Go ahead, read it real quick. Read it real out. He's going to read 7 and 8 too, verses 7 and 8.
Be not wise in your own conceit, but fear Yah and depart from all evil. Then shall there be health to your body and good keeping to your bones.
Be not wise in your own conceit. Again, be not exalted in your own wisdom. Again, we it's because it's not us getting it. It's the Most High revealing these things to us to be able to walk worthy before Him. Because we don't know. We don't know. Again, that we are a generation that didn't know anything of the Most High until He breathed into these dry bones. All right. Psalm 119, verse 18. Psalm 119, verse 18. Again, these are witnesses. These are witnesses. Psalm 119. Verse 18. I believe this is Malak Dawad, King David. He says, unveil you mine eyes. Remove the scales, basically. Unveil you mine eyes, and I shall perceive wondrous things of your law, of your instruction. Unveil you mine eyes. So Abba, remove the scales from my eyes, so that I shall understand wondrous things of your law, because I'm not going to be able to get it by myself. Basically, is what he's saying. I can't get it by myself. I need you to remove the scales from my eyes, to remove the blinders, so that I can understand your instruction. Okay? And back to what the scripture now that Agdez brought up, Ecclesiastes 12. Ecclesiastes 12. starting at verse 12. This one hit me when this, the Most High first revealed this text to me. Man, this one hit me like a ton of bricks. That verse 12, it really did hit me like a ton of bricks. And I'm like, okay, I need to chill. Honestly, that's basically what I said to myself. I need to chill. Ecclesiastes 12, starting at verse 12. And moreover, my son, guard yourself by means of them. Well, let me start at verse 11. The words of the wise are as goads and as nails firmly fastened, which have been given from one shepherd by agreement. And moreover, my son, guard yourself by means of them. Of making many books, there is no end. And much study is a weariness of the flesh. Of making many books, there is no end. Like I was speaking about earlier with the manipulation of information and things of that nature we come across or whatever, it's never ending. They're constantly manipulating the information. They're constantly putting it out there and publishing these things, putting things out there to bring confusion and to bring more distractions to the masses, not just for Yasharal, but to the masses. Because again, so that the name of Yasharal will be no more. So that you as Yasharal won't be able to walk in the ways of the Most High. Because the higher ups, they know who you are. And just like we had read a while ago in Judith with the Assyrians speaking of us or whatever, knowing our culture, knowing who we are, following us, watching us, this, now, whatever. And they said, man, if these people are following, if they're obeying their power, we can't touch them. Leave them alone. But if they are walking in disobedience and this and that, whatever, then that's when we can take advantage of them. So this is what it is. Let's put out as much, let's see where they are. Let's measure their level of understanding, see where they are, see what they're talking about. And then let's go out and let's put stuff out there to confuse and cause them to be in disarray and divide them even more. Because if they come together and this now whatever, I'm telling you, they will overtake us. This is how these people are thinking. This is how they're thinking. Right. Read the Art of War, man. Not that I'm calling upon books to read outside of the text, but I'm telling you, this is the art of war. They're trying to confuse the masses. If they can divide you, then you will fall, right? That's just what it is. And this is what doing that is. Let's measure their level of intelligence and see where they are. And and let's put out this book and let's put out that book and let's give them that information to make them think something else and blah 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 blah. This is how they're manipulating. So if we're not reliant on the Most High, we just gonna be jacked up, man.
Then also like to land me back on that point too. You feel what I'm saying? And a lot, and it ain't just. I mean, it's all spiritual. It isn't just the other nations conspire, or the elect of those nations, or the elites of those nations conspires, because it's other spirits amongst our people that's not even knowing that they're being influenced by the man. It's like there's folks out here that all praise the Most High. Now my neighbor's been locked out the car, and they finally got the car unlocked. Anyway, that's not the point. But I'm sorry. So what happened? Like, because there's folks that's out here, they claim to be Israelites, but they subscribe to Islam at the same time, and it's telling you that the Bible isn't enough. It isn't just, you just don't need or how can I say this? The scriptures that we have needs to be added to with the Quran. You feel what I'm saying? There's folks that's out here that are Israelite, that claim the Israelites, but they also subscribe to the Book of Mormon too, and saying that that's scripture as well. But if you read the Book of Mormon, it'll tell you that, you know what I'm saying, that these folks believe, or the Book of Mormons believe, that dark-skinned people are cursed people. You know what I'm saying? So it's again that we don't know how to rightly divide what is truth and what is a lie, what is deception, and what is not deception. You know what I'm saying? Like we gotta know what is the truth, what is of the truth and what is of a lie.
That's it. And I'm glad you said that the way you worded that. We don't know how to rightly divide. We don't. That's why we need the Most High. You know, we need him to reveal us. We need him to remove the scales from our eyes. We need him to put into our hearts what is and what ain't. Because again, we're dealing with, again, you dealing with man, you're dealing with spirits and high places and all of these different things. We're dealing with all of these different elements. And we are people far removed from our heritage and our culture. Far, far removed. So we
Yeah.
need the reliance of the Rawak.
Right. And Myron, when you brought up Solomon, I see Solomon is the perfect example of what we're speaking about, because Solomon, who asked for wisdom, but he never stopped. But in the end, he gave us a definitive wisdom statement that said, hey man, you only have one purpose. That's it. And he kept it really
God.
simple. So you go through everything that we've read about Solomon, and it's interesting that he would give you that end message.
Perspective.
Hey man, you only
God.
got one purpose. Forget about all
Yeah,
that other stuff.
that's right. And
He
and
said
to
it's
know
folly, any of
Solomon,
that other stuff. Yeah.
right? And to know Solomon, again, the Most High imparts unto him wisdom. You know what I mean? Imparts unto him wisdom to be able to discern the people and govern the people. And you see what even with Solomon, with all that wisdom, right? With all that wisdom, what happened?
Yeah.
To the point where he gets to the end of his life and now he's telling us this. You see what I'm saying? Of making many books is a weariness to the flesh. And again, it's not the study of the scriptures is not the weariness, is the study of other things beyond the scriptures. That's what it's speaking about. So
Right.
we just really have to be careful, man. We have to be careful
Yeah.
how we parse through this stuff.
But the way I see it too, and you made mention of the curses, but it also makes the Bible true in every way, that we would be scattered, that we would serve the gods, that we would be misled. So, you
Okay.
know, I mean, we see it real time now, and no one's hiding. And it used to be a little bit different, but it's, hey, the enemy is in full force. He either gives you comfort, meaning you're comfortable serving whatever God you're serving, or he
Mm.
gives you or he gives you something stupid. You know what I mean? So
God.
that's it. That's it. He either gives you comfort, and you're so comfortable serving whatever God you're serving that you're not even aware, or he gives you this
Mm.
constant feed that's to mislead people and to keep you astray. But you only have one purpose. That's it.
That's it.
And
Serve the Most
and
High.
a,
Keep the
and the
commandments.
precept to that is Romans 1. Oh, let me have to get it right. And, Romans 1:18.
1 second. 1 second. 118. There you go.
For the wrath of Yah is revealed from Shemayim, that's heaven, against all ungodliness and unrighteousness of men who by their unrighteousness suppress the truth. For what
Mm.
is for what can be known of Yah about Yah is plain to them, because Yah has shown it to them. For his invisible attributes, namely his eternal power and divine nature, have been clearly perceived ever since the creation of the world in the things that have been made, so that they are without excuse. For although they knew Yah, they did not honor him as Elohim or give thanks to him, but they became futile in their thinking, and their foolish hearts were darkened. Claiming to be wise, they became fools and exchanged the glory of the immortal power for images resembling mortal man and birds and animals and creeping things. Therefore, Yah gave them up to the lust of their hearts, and to the impurity, to the dishonoring of their bodies among themselves, because they exchanged the truth of Yah about Yah for a lie, and worshipped and served the creature rather than the Creator, who was blessed forever. Amen. For this reason, Elohim gave them up to dishonorable passions, for their women exchanged natural relations with those that are contrary to nature, and the men likewise gave up natural relations with women and were consumed with passion for one another, men committing shameless acts with men and receiving in themselves the due penalty of their error. And since they did not see fit to acknowledge Elohim, Yah gave them up to to a debased mind to do what ought not to be done. They were filled with all manner of righteousness, evil, covetousness, malice, and are full of envy, murder, strife, deceitfulness, malice, maliciousness. They are all gossips, slanderers, haters of Yah, insolent, haughty, boastful, inventors of evil, disobedient to parents, foolish, faithless, heartless, ruthless. They they though they knew Elohim's righteous decree that those who practice such things deserve to die, they not only do them but give approval to those who practice them.
Gone, gone. And the verse I emphasize again with what we're speaking about is verse 19. For what can be known about the Most High is plain to them because the Most High has shown it to them. You
So
know,
there's no excuse. You know what I'm
there's no
saying?
excuse.
Even to like the atheists who says they grew up atheists, they grew up saying there's no God in the sky. There is no like religion is just man made. There is no spiritual things in this world. Like there's no excuse. You got breath in your body. You got movements in your ligaments. You can see the air blowing the trees. You can feel the sun rays not killing you. You know what I'm saying? You
Mm-hmm.
see the sky, you see the clouds. You know what I'm saying? You hear the birds chirping. All these are all web evidence that the Most High is real and the Most High is present. But you and your unrighteousness, you and your sin, you and your dysfunctionality are blinded. You know what I'm saying? You can't see his glory because you won't allow his glory to be seen. You cover yourself from away from his glory. You know what I'm saying? And you a fool. You know what I'm saying? Fool says in the heart, there is no God. There is no power. You know what I'm saying? And what makes a fool is they know better, but they ain't doing better. They
That's
know
it.
what's right, but they ain't gonna practice it. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
it. That's it. That's it. You know, again, we just have to be careful, man. You know, we just really have to be careful. Again, I can't say it enough. You know, with all the information and things like that that's out there, man, we just have to be careful to understand and know that the Most High wants you to have it. The Most High wants you to be in. He wants you to be in a place with Him. He wants you. You know, He doesn't want you lost. He wants to give unto us. But again, you know, putting ourselves in that place, making ourselves readily available in our faithfulness and you know, our meditation of the text and our just being before Him, you know, to receive, um, you know, knowing that again, we know there's information floating out there. Then, like I said, it's not all information is bad, but again, if it's coming through the hands of man, you know what, we have to, you know, we have to be able to allow the Most High to parse it out for us because we, in and of ourselves, cannot rightly divide what's right and what's not. You know, it just is what it is. That's just what it is.
Right. It's also
Um,
important that we call out that, and I'm sorry, Myron, you're going to say something.
no,
I
you
don't want
got
to
it.
cut
No,
you
you
off.
got it. No,
No,
you
I
got it.
want to call out that part where, where he said, don't even inquire about their God. You see what I'm
Mm,
saying? Because to me, he was saying, hey, man, you good. And see, this knowledge thing, and we see it out there all the time, Instagram, YouTube, television, you're seeing it, man. But once we're on the right path, I mean, we don't have to inquire about their God. And so I'm getting to that point that, and unless you're serving Yah, then, I'm not asking you who you're serving. I mean, I think we should be that light that represent a bright enough light that they say, well, what a mighty God you must serve. You know what I mean?
Mm.
But
Con,
we don't need
Yeah.
to be asking these people, man, because there's, to me, that was Yah's way of saying, man, you ain't got to worry about it. That's less. You need to focus on what I would have you do. Don't even
that's
ask
it.
them.
Yeah,
Con.
So,
yeah, but it starts, even before that, it start with the conditioning of your heart. Because that verse that Yashiyah pulled out, it said he gave them up to their own devices, to a
hmm
retrograde mind. So that means that their heart already had it in their heart that they was gonna be retrograde, versus
hmm
somebody who has a heart to submit to Yah. Then that person will receive the understandings that Yah has fit for them. Because when you see them verses that I've been stuck on it since we read it, but more wisdom, more sorrow. When you look at Solomon as an example, man, he had all the wisdom. You could use that wisdom for worldly gain, or for things that ain't of Yah. And we see at times where Solomon did that. So when you have more wisdom, more sorrow, a large part of it is you have to die daily. You have to say no to the flesh. You have to use that wisdom correctly before you can even get to a point where you say, you know, you know, forget their gods, because you want to be on the right. You got to get rid of that retrobate mind.
we gotcha.
Yep.
And we also have to be obedient because remember, Yah told Solomon that at the end of the day, he said, don't take on all those wives because you will serve their gods, right?
Mm-hmm.
And him being of all wisdom, he should have took that to heart, right? And just
Mm.
like many of us, he got led astray. But y'all definitely gave him the warning that said, hey man, don't do it. You know what I mean? Next thing we know, the man with all wisdom was, bowing down in the astral pole. You know what I mean? Sacrificing and building temples.
Mm.
So,
Absolutely.
you know what I mean? So
Yeah,
if it can
yeah.
happen to him, it can happen to anybody. You know what I
Well,
mean?
what he failed to continue to have that he had in the beginning was humility. So
Right.
he
Uh,
began his wisdom in his mind became his God, which is why
Mm-hmm.
I believe what Myron read the first time in Ecclesiastes, if you go back 2 verses to 16, 17, then 18, or whichever, however it is, you see his regret that
yep.
I knew this and didn't apply it and ignored it, and now I'm paying the price for it. The humility
Con.
pieces was critical when Yah gives you any kind of gift, because the gift isn't for you; it's for the rest of the nation.
Con. All praises. That's exactly it. And because I was literally just about to make that, because at the end of the day, we speak about crafting idols and making certain things idols, but you yourself can become an idol to yourself. You know what I mean? That humility is not theirs. It's like I said, the wisdom that he received was the wisdom from on high, was the wisdom from the most high. But again, that lack of humility, caused him to depart from the most high. And here it is at the end of his life. He realized these things. That's why he said all this stuff is vanity. It's vanity. It's vanity without receiving from the most high. That's now, and if you don't have that, you're done. So that's basically what I mean. If you are, you know, you know, lifting yourself up to know and gain these things without that humility, I'm telling you, you're already setting yourself up for failure, man. You're already setting yourself up for failure. But I know
That's why that's why
okay,
Shaul in 1 Corinthians 9 around 24 towards the end somewhere we talk about all the runners run, but only one wins the prize. Skip down to the bottom. He said, I beat my body and make it my slave. So after I preach to others, I myself would not be disqualified from the prize. Solomon disqualified himself, however, way from the prize in his disappointment that at the end of the day, he let the Most High down with, with
Con.
what Most High entrusted him with. And that should be our mindset is I'm not losing my deliverance for anybody else. I'm going to
For
continue to do
anybody.
the work I have to do to get to where I can only control. Because, the word says, work out your own soul salvation with fear and trembling. you know,
Nah. Nah. Absolutely. Nah. No doubt. No doubt. I mean, what happened?
So the scripture that Daniel was talking about, Ecclesiastes 1 at 6, verse 16, start at 16, where he did sound like he was prideful, Solomon.
Yeah, and I had
He
that.
said, my head and heart.
Ecclesiastes 1,
Yeah, I said it was 16,
16.
17.
16 to 17,
Yeah.
where Daniel's speaking on. Ecclesiastes 1, starting at verse 16. I spoke in my heart, saying, behold, I am increased and have acquired wisdom beyond all who were before me in Yarushalayim, in Jerusalem. Also, I applied my heart to know wisdom and knowledge. Verse 17. And my heart knew much wisdom and knowledge, parables and understanding. I perceive that this also is waywardness of spirit. For in the abundance of wisdom is an abundance of knowledge, and he that increases knowledge will increase sorrow. So again, he realized, you know what I mean? He puffed himself up. And I'm telling you, it's subtle like that. It can get like that. You will puff yourself up, heaping knowledge unto yourself, and this and that, whatever, and this, and not understanding that it's the Most High imparting this stuff unto you. We get this stuff from the Most High, and you basically make yourself an idol, and that's the first thing, departing from the wisdom of the Most High, departing from the Most High. That pride creeps in. So, all praises for that. All praises. But I don't want to prolong the time. It's 146. There's other scripts I have, but I just wanted to, go in and see our forefathers, some of our forefathers, you know what I mean? Where was their reliance? How they parse these things out, how they go about it, being in captivity or being under some enemy rulership or whatever the case may be, just like us, you know, how they parse it out. Other scripts that I did have, basically just kind of witnesses. You want to put them out there is John 3, verse 27, where it says, John answered, a person cannot receive even one thing unless it is given him from Shemayim, unless it is given him from heaven. A person cannot receive not even one thing. John knew this, unless it is given him from Shemayim. That's John 3, verse 27. John 6, verse 44. The Messiah, Mashiach, says this. John 6, 44. No one can come to me unless the Father who sent me draws him, and I will raise him up on that last day. No one can come to me unless the Father who sent me draws him. Now I know we're all in agreement that Mashiach is he's the fulfillment of of Torah. He's the fulfillment of the instructions, right? He's the example that we have, even in captivity, how to walk this thing out in righteousness, how to live set apart, and walk set apart. And he says, no one can come to me unless the Father who sent me draws him. So the Father is going to show you how to walk this thing out. John 6, verse 65. John 6, verse 65. And he said, this is why I told you that no one can come to me unless it is granted him by the Father. So there's no understanding, there's no this, there's no that, unless it is given to you by the Most High. Goes back to all the scripts we've read about the word of Yah being revealed to the people, the things that are revealed or the things that are made known to us. Again, these are all witnesses. These are all the witnesses that I'm pulling from the scripts. That ain't me saying it. This is everything I'm pulling from the scripts, right? So all of those scripts, everything that we went over. So now just some, a couple of examples, because I don't want to prolong the time. How did our forefathers get through it? Under the thumb of idol worship, or under the thumb of captivity, or some type of evil rulership, or whatever the case may be. The first thing I'm going to pull on is Abraham, Jubilees 12, and I'm gonna read verses 21, and then I'm gonna skip down and read verses 25 through 27. Okay, so Jubilees 12. So again, we have, we have ancestors that walked in, that walked right before the Most High. Okay, we had ancestors that walked perfectly or right before the Most High, and we can follow these examples. Jubilees 12, starting at verse 21, and then I'm reading verses 25 to 27. So this is Abraham. He's praying to the Most High. He's praying to the Most High. But in verse 21, like I said, for time's sake, he says, and he said to the Most High, shall I return unto Ur of the Chaldees, who seeks my face, that I may return to them? And again, you can go back and read the whole story, how, he burned the idols and all of these things, because remember, he grew up in idol worship. His father and everything, he worshiped these idols, in the times of Nimrod, they worship these idols, this and that, whatever. He's hearing the voice of the Most High. He's doing something different. He burned the idols, and now he's fleeing. Now they're looking to come after him, or whatever the case may be. So he's praying to the Most High. And this is the Most High about to really speak to him and present this covenant with him. So verse 21, and he said, shall I return unto Ur of the Chaldees, who seek my face, that I may return to them? Or am I to remain here in this place? So he's asking the Most High, should I return back to Babylon? Should I return back over there? Or should I remain here where I am right now? And then this is where I want to get to. The right path before you, prosper it in the hands of your servant, that he may fulfill it, and that I may not walk in the deceitfulness of my heart, O my Elohim, O my power. He's asking, the right path before you, Abba, prosper it in the hands of your servant. So he's asking the Most High to show me what the right path is. I can't go out there and seek it for myself. Show me what the right path is, right? And so now skip down verses 25 to 27. And it says, and Yah Elohim, Yah our power, said, open his mouth and his ears, that he may hear and speak with his mouth with the language which has been revealed. For it had ceased from the mouths of all the children of men from the day of the overthrow of Babel. And I opened his mouth and his ears and his lips, and I began to speak with him in Hebrew, in the tongue of the creation. We went over this before. The tongue of the creation. So the Most High is opening his mouth, his ears, and all of his mouth, and his eyes, and all of these things. He's restoring unto him the Lashawan Kodash, the set apart tongue. He's restoring these things unto him. And I began to speak with him in Hebrew, in the tongue of the creation. Verse 27. And he took the books of his fathers, Abraham, and he took the books of his fathers, and these were written in Hebrew, and he transcribed them. So now he's writing out, this from the scrolls, and he began from then to study them. So again, goes back to what I was saying earlier. We continue to meditate in the text. We just continue to meditate in the text and ask Abba to unveil our eyes so that we may know his instruction, right? And he transcribed them. He began from then to study them. And here it is. And I, the Most High, made known to him that which he could not understand. And he studied them during the 6 reigning months. The Most High made known to him all of the things that he could not understand. Again, just like Mashiach said, when he leaves, I'm going to send the Comforter, and the Holy Spirit, and the Most High Spirit basically is going to bring all things back to your remembrance. This is what's happening now for us. He's bringing back things to our remembrance. He's doing it. Okay. So that's Abraham. Okay, the Most High made known to him those things which he could not understand. Again, going along with every single thing we just went over about being revealed to us. Okay, the Most High is showing us the way. Yahweh Shai, real quick. Yahweh Shai, the Messiah, John 17, verses 6 through 8, in the prayer that he's praying to the Most High. John 17, verses 6 through 8. This is the prayer that he's praying unto the Father. And that's why I always say, sometimes we can just look at some of these prayers and just, rehearse these prayers that our forefathers, and our brethren are praying unto, unto Abba. We can pray the same exact things. You know what I mean? So John 17, verses 6 through 8. And this is the Messiah speaking, Mashiach speaking. It says, I have manifested your name to the people whom you gave me out of the world. Yours they were, and you gave them to me, and they have kept your word. Okay? So going back to what Yasha said, saying showing yourself faithful, meditating in the word, right? And being obedient to that word. So again, I have manifested your name to the people whom you gave me out of the world. Yours they were, and you gave them to me, and they have kept your word. Verse 7. Now they know that everything that you have given me is from you. Now they know that everything that you have given me is from you. Okay? Yahweh Shah Mashiach was not here doing things in and of himself, seeking things in and of himself. He said, everything that you have given me is from you. Verse 8, for I have given them the words, what? That you gave me. Not that I had unto myself. I've given them the words that you gave me. And they have received them and have come to know in truth that I came from you, and they have believed that you sent me. There's some more witnesses. Okay? And so lastly, we're going to go to my man Paul. Paul, whom everybody has problems with. I don't have any issues with Paul. Knowing now what we know. But Paul, real quick, I want to run through Paul because, Paul is saying some. He got, like my man C Love and Trav be saying, man. Paul got some heat, man. Paul got some heat right here in these verses right here, man.
For real.
He got some heat, man. So 1 Corinthians 1, and I'm going to read from verse 26 to verse 31. 1 Corinthians 1, from verse 26 to 31. All right? And it reads, out of ESV, verse 26, for consider your calling, brothers. Not many of you were wise according to worldly standards. Not many were powerful. Not many were of noble birth. But the Most High chose what is foolish in the world to shame the wise. The Most High chose what is weak in the world to shame the strong. Aren't we in the eyes of the rest of the world? Aren't we the foolish? Aren't we the weak? Aren't we the most despised? All right. So verse 27, but the Most High chose what is foolish in the world to shame the wise. The Most High chose what is weak in the world to shame the strong. The Most High chose what is low and despised in the world, even things that are not, to bring to nothing things that are. 29, so that no human being might boast in the presence of the Most High. Right? Verse 30. And because of him, you are in Mashiach Yahushai, who became to us wisdom from the Most High. Because of him. You didn't gain this by yourself. It is because of him, okay, that you are in Mashiach and that you are walking the way the Mashiach walk or whatever. It's because of him who became to us wisdom from the Most High, righteousness and sanctification and redemption. Verse 31, so that as it is written, let the one who boasts boast in Yah. And where is that written? That's Jeremiah 9, 23 and 24. Okay, let the one who boasts boast in Yah. Okay, this is Paul quoting from Jeremiah, chapter 9, verses 23 and 24. Okay, that's some heat right there. That's some heat, like my man said. Okay, that he chose the foolish things, the weak things, the low and despised, and he is making these things known to us, right? Next verse of heat is 1 Corinthians chapter 2, 6 through 16. And I think C Love may mention this earlier. One of these verses here. So it's 1 Corinthians chapter 2, 6 through 16. 1 Corinthians chapter 2, 6 through 16. And it reads, Yet among the mature we do impart wisdom, although it is not a wisdom of this age or of the rulers of this age who are doomed to pass away. But we impart a secret and hidden wisdom of the Most High, which the Most High decreed before the ages for our glory. Verse 8. None of the rulers of this age understood this. For if they had, they would not have crucified Yahushua, Mashiach of glory. Okay? And think about it, having all this, and like I said, I'm not going to say it was all of our people who put him up on that stake and put him on that tree or whatever the case may be and wanted his death because, again, we know a lot of those Pharisees, Sadducees were Edomites. They weren't, our people, but we did have the high priests that were accusing them in the whole 9 yards. And these people had wisdom, had knowledge, and all of these things, and still, made accusations or whatever the case may be. So again, you can have all of the books and you can have the text and all of these things, but and still walk wayward if you're not in humility and really seeking the Most High. Verse 9, but as it is written, what no eye has seen, nor ear heard, nor the heart of man imagined, what the Most High has prepared for those who love him. That's Isaiah 64, verse 4. Verse 10, these things the Most High has revealed. These things the Most High has revealed to us through the Ruach, through the Spirit. For the Spirit searches everything, even the depths of the Most High. Verse 11, for who knows a person's thoughts except the spirit of that person which is in him? So also no one comprehends the thoughts of the Most High except the Spirit of the Most High. Now we have received not the spirit of the world, but the Spirit who is from the Most High, that we might understand the things freely given us by the Most High. So we have received not the spirit of the world, but the Spirit, the Ruach of the Most High, that we might understand the things freely given to us by the Most High. Again, those things being revealed by the Most High. We got all these witnesses. Verse 13, and we impart this in words not taught by human wisdom, but taught by the Spirit, interpreting spiritual truths to those who are spiritual. So again, making yourselves worthy, making yourselves faithful before the Most High. Verse 14. What did I say? It's verse 16, right? Okay. Verse 14. The natural person does not accept the things of the Spirit of the Most High, for they are folly to him, and he is not able to understand them because they are spiritually discerned. Again, not me going in about myself to do it. There are these things given to us. They're given to us by the Most High. They're revealed to us by the Most High. They are spiritually discerned. So again, you cannot parse through all of this information and misinformation you cannot. We don't know which way is up unless we rely on the Ruach Kodash, unless we rely on the Spirit. Verse 15, excuse me. The spiritual person judges all things, but it is himself to be judged by no one. Okay? Or the spiritual person tests all things, but is himself to be tested by no one, or whatever the case may be. Verse 16. For who has understood the mind of Yah so as to instruct him? But we have the mind of Mashiach. Okay? Paul is just speaking some heat, just confirming everything that we just went over. We rely on the Spirit. We rely on the Most High to be able to feed us and show us what needs to be done according to walking this thing out in this captivity. Because again, it's not easy. Last thing, 2 Corinthians 12, verse 1 and verse 7. 2 Corinthians 12, verse 1 and verse 7. And of course, this is that, what's the name was called? They call it, Paul's, his thorn in the flesh and all of these things. But just a couple of words that I want us to see in here that goes along with everything that we've been talking about today. 2 Corinthians 12, verses 1 and verse 7. So in verse 1 it says, I must go on boasting, though there is nothing to be gained by it. I will go on to visions and revelations of Yah. Visions and revelations of Yah. Of Yah. Not what I did or whatever. Visions and revelations of Yah. Verse 7. So to keep me from becoming conceited because of the surpassing greatness of the what? Revelations. A thorn was given me in the flesh, a messenger of Satan to harass me, to keep me from becoming conceited, to keep me humble, because the Most High was imparting unto me all these revelations. So this thorn in the flesh He gave me and said, you know what, my grace is sufficient for you, my protection is sufficient for you. You know what I mean? Go about your business, man. You know what I mean? Stop coming to me with this thorn in the flesh thing. I'm allowing this, man. Go about your business. My protection is sufficient for you, my dude. So I just wanted to finish that off and see what our forefathers did, our ancestors did, our brethren, our loved ones, they did in walking this thing out in the midst of captivity. Because even Paul was in, they were in Roman captivity. The Romans were in rulership at that time or whatever. So here we are in captivity, and as troubling as it is, we thank the Most High that we have Him, and that He still sees us as the apple of His eye, to be able to impart unto us wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, that we may be able to walk this thing out, that we may might be able to get this thing right in His sight. And as long as we're doing things right in His sight, as long as we're doing all things unto Him and not as unto man, I think we'll be on in good standing. I think we'll be in good on good footing to receive of the Most High. And just truly trust in Him to give us all the nourishment that we need to be nourished here in this construct, waiting for Mashiach to crack that sky and gather us home. And just, and as I always quote from, was that Luke 21, I think it's 36, that we are worthy to stand before Him and worthy to be hidden in the day of destruction, in the day of tribulation, because it is coming. So that's all I have, family. Just really wanted to share that, and I pray even if one person is gets it and just truly allows the Most High to sit with them and part unto them and feed them, and to be able to walk this thing out, to be a vessel before the Most High. I believe personally that I've done my job. So with that, is there any questions, comments, concerns, feedback, whatever it is, from anyone?
No, good study, Myron. Good study.
All praises, family.
I just
All praises, family. Again.
like you.
Oh no, go ahead, Al.
Let's just throw out another witness: Daniel, Azariah, Hananiah, Mishael. You know what I'm saying? Another witness to how to stand righteously and boldly for the Most High in the midst of captivity and craziness. You know what I'm saying? Not compromising
Oh yeah.
on what you know to be true. You know what I'm saying? Not to be compromising on the Most High, but staying faithful, and not to seek for positions in the land of your captivity, but whatever the Most High gives you in the midst of your captivity, be content in that, and point it back and use that to bring glory to Him.
Yeah, man. It's okay to be humble, man. It's so. It's okay to say, you know what, I don't know. It's okay. I don't know. I don't know. Help me. Help me. You know what I mean? Please help me. I don't know. You know what I mean? It's fine. It's fine, because we don't know. We don't know. So all praises, man. All praises.
Many blessings to you, brothers, too, man. I just think we don't call it out as often as Yah bringing together a group of people. I mean, that's powerful in itself, man. It's a miracle that we're all on the phones and that we're all communicating, that we're all talking about Yah. Those are the, we just can't take those things for granted, man. You know what I mean? We're wrestling with it. And so really, all praises to y'all for you guys, man. And it's just a special shout out to y'all.
All praises, man. All praises to the great I am, man. It's thank the Most High. I get thank the Most High for everything that He's doing, everything that He's given us, man. I always thank the Most High for the Mash Pak, man, and thank the Most High for y'all coming on and chiming in, and and all the feedback and everything, man. It's a beautiful thing, and this is where we should be. And there may be things that we agree, disagree in places in whole 9 yards, but it should never separate us. I personally don't think it should separate us. I think, it's a coming together, it's a learning process. And, there's some things that I, thought and believed, years ago that Most High showed me different, you know what I mean? And I had to say, oh, you know what? Hands up, I saw in the text where it is, and, and had to change my position. So it just is what it is, man. And, it's just all a learning process and growth, to be able, like I always say, to be able to pass under that rod, man, because ultimately that's the goal, to be able to pass under that rod to get into the kingdom, man. So all praises, man. All praises.
On, man. You use the word growth, man. It's a progressive journey, and you harped a lot on Yah being the one that bestowed wisdom on you. It's humbling because Yah gave you the wisdom because he wanted you to have it. So when you're talking about like the gathering of the saints, it's a lot of wisdom on the phone, man, and Yah gave it to each and every one of us for his will to be accomplished, and we should all wear that, proudly.
Yep. Yep. Just like your dad just said, man, can't, please don't take it for granted because he did not have to do it. Just like that text in Psalm says, I can never remember which Psalm it is. He has not given us, he has not dealt with us according to our iniquities, and he has not given us what we deserve. So again, can't take any of these things for granted, man. All praises. All praises. So with that, family, we're gonna go ahead and close out. Again, thank everybody for being on. Thank everybody for their wisdom and their feedback and everything that took place. And we just thank the Most High for all praises. We're gonna turn to our homeland. Once again, Abba, we just thank you for all things, Abba. We give you praise, honor, and glory, Father, for you alone deserves the praise, honor, and glory. You alone deserve to be magnified above all, Father. We just thank you for everything that you're showing us, that you have shown us, Abba, and everything, given unto us to be able to live by every word that proceeds out of your mouth and be vessels meet for your use, even in this time, Father. Again, we thank you for awakening us for such a time as this, to be able to again do what is, look to do what's right in your sight, return into the covenant, return into the beautiful heritage that you have given us, as well as being able to help to restore our brethren, Abba. So I pray that we look to not wanting to be in error, Father, so that we don't cause anyone else to be in error, Father. And we seek you for all wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, Father. We won't want to do anything in and of ourselves, because by ourselves we are nothing, Father. You go before us, Father. I pray that again, that we hide ourselves in you, that we decrease, that you may be increased, Abba. That we may be able to speak life, Father, and live that which is according to life, which is in you, Father, and be that that light unto our brethren, be that light unto those nations that may want to cleave, Abba, and seek you out and give you all praise, honor, and glory, Father. Again, we just thank you for this study. We thank you for all things that are done. Pray that every word of our mouth and meditation of our heart has been acceptable in your sight, Father. And again, Father, as we depart from this place, we pray for all of those, that are on, Father, that you would just continue to strengthen us where we're weak and prop us up on every leaning side, and not just for us, Abba, but for the nation, for those that are seeking, Abba, because we know it is hard. It is definitely a hard journey, Father, but we know we have you. You go before us and you walk before us, Father. So I pray that we again not take anything for granted, but walk in the boldness of your spirit, of your Ruach Kodash, Abba, and do again what is pleasing in your sight, Father. And now unto you who's able to keep us from falling, who's able to present our souls faultless before your throne with exceeding joy, to the only wise Elohim, to the only wise power, be glory, majesty, dominion, and power, both now and forever, in your most holy name, and of our Mashiach Yahushai. Amen. All praises. All praises. All praises, family. Love y'all. Pray that y'all enjoy the rest of y'all day, family. And again, we have, we have our traveling Chris, who have their pod at 3 o'clock Eastern time. Got the study tomorrow. I don't know if there's study tomorrow. Danny, you have that study. If anything, again, you can reach out. We'll give you the links, and they can put their link in there.
3:30.
3:30 CP time. Okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you can
Yeah.
put the links in the thing. Yep. So got a study tomorrow. I think. Dan, you got any study tomorrow?
No, negative.
Okay, so that's a negative on study tomorrow. So family, just enjoy your day. Enjoy your weekend, and again, walk with the Most High. Love y'all, family. Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Love y'all, family. Shalom, shalom,
Love
shalom, y'all. Shabbat
y'all.
shalom. Shalom.
Love y'all. Shabbat shalom.
Love you guys. Bye.
Gardine, you said something? Oh,
I just say love you guys.
hey, cousin.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
All right. The message was powerful. It was good.
Oh, praise y'all. All praises.
I'm taking notes.
Oh, praise y'all. Praise y'all. You
I
doing
know the
well?
scriptures, so I could reread them over again.
Oh, praise y'all. And then you could go if you want to, like, you get in the scriptures again and writing them down. But also, I sent you the YouTube page where you could go watch it again if you need to, right?
Oh, okay, yeah, because I was gonna ask that. Yeah, like if I wanted to see this, because I know I missed last week and I wanted to come in last week. Would I be able to view it and see?
Oh,
Okay,
okay. Yeah, I'll send you the link.
okay. Thank you.
Okay, love you.
Okay, love you. Have a nice day.
You
Thank you.
too. Bye-bye.